Pan comes from a Greek word meaning all. As an English prefix, it can also mean completely, whole, or general. A panoramic view is a complete view in every direction. A pantheon is a temple dedicated to all the gods of a religion. A pandemic outbreak of a disease may not affect the entire human population, but enough to produce a catastrophe. Panacea, a remedy for all ills or difficulties, cure-all. Educational reform is sometimes viewed as the panacea for all of society's problems. Panacea comes from a Greek word meaning all healing, and Panacea was the goddess of healing. In the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, alchemists who sought to concoct the elixir of life, which would give eternal life, and the philosopher's stone, which would turn ordinary metals into gold, also labored to find the panacea. But no such medicine was ever found, just as no solution to all of a society's difficulties has ever been found. Thus, panacea is almost always used to criticize the very idea of a total solution. There's no panacea for the current problems plaguing Wall Street. Pandemonium, a wild uproar or commotion. Pandemonium erupted in the stadium as the ball shot past the goalie into the net. In John Milton's Paradise Lost, the fallen Satan has his heralds proclaim a solemn council forthwith to be held at Pandemonium, the high capital of Satan and his peers. Milton got the name for his capital of hell, where Satan gathered together all his demons, by linking pan with the Latin word demonium, evil spirit. For later writers, pandemonium became a synonym for hell itself, since hell was then often seen as a place of constant noise and confusion, but also for any wicked and lawless place. Nowadays it's used to refer to the uproar itself rather than the place where it occurs. Pantheism, a system of belief that regards God as identical with the forces and laws of the universe. Most of her students seem to accept a vague kind of pantheism, without any real belief that God had ever appeared in human form. Pantheistic ideas, and most importantly the belief that God is equal to the universe, its physical matter, and the forces that govern it, are found in the ancient books of Hinduism, in the works of many Greek philosophers, and in later works of philosophy and religion over the centuries. Much modern New Age spirituality is pantheistic. But most Christian thinkers reject pantheism because it makes God too impersonal, doesn't allow for any difference between the creation and the creator, and doesn't seem to allow for humans to make meaningful moral choices. Panoply: 1. A magnificent or impressive array. 2. A display of all appropriate accessory items. The full panoply of a royal coronation was a thrilling sight for the throngs of sidewalk onlookers and the millions of television viewers. The fully armed Greek soldier was an impressive sight, even if Greek armor never became as heavy as that of medieval knights on horseback, who couldn't possibly have marched in such outfits. Panoplia was the Greek word for the full suit of armor, and the English panoply originally likewise referred to the full suit of armor worn by a soldier or knight. Today, panoply may refer to full ceremonial dress or lavish ceremonial decoration of any kind. And it can also refer to striking spectacle of almost any kind, the breathtaking panoply of autumn foliage, or the stirring panoply of a military parade, for example. Extra is Latin for outside or beyond. So anything extraterrestrial or extragalactic takes place beyond the Earth or the galaxy. Something extravagant, such as an extravaganza, goes way beyond the normal. And extra is naturally a word itself, a shortening of extraordinary, beyond the ordinary. Extradite, to deliver an accused criminal from one place to another where the trial will be held. Picked up by the Colorado police for burglary, he's being extradited to Mississippi to face trial for murder. Extradition from one state to another is generally a straightforward process. But extradition may become more complicated when two countries are involved, even though most countries have signed treaties stating that they will send criminals to the country where they are wanted. Many countries often won't send their own citizens to another country for trial. Countries that don't permit the death penalty may not agree to send a suspect back to face such a penalty, and most countries won't extradite someone accused of political crimes. When extradition seems unlikely, a country may actually kidnap someone from another country, but this is illegal and rare. Extrapolate, to extend or project facts or data into an area not known in order to make assumptions or to predict facts or trends. Economists predict future buying trends, partly by extrapolating from current economic data. Scientists worry about the greenhouse effect because they have extrapolated the rate of carbon dioxide buildup and predicted that its effect on the atmosphere will become increasingly severe. On the basis of their extrapolations, they have urged governments and businesses to limit factory and automobile emissions. Notice that it's acceptable to speak of extrapolating existing data to produce new data, extrapolating from existing data to produce new data, or extrapolating new data from existing data. In other words, it isn't easy to use this word wrong. Extrovert, a person mainly concerned with things outside him or herself, a sociable and outgoing person. These parties are always full of loud extroverts, and I always find myself hiding in a corner with my drink. Extrovert, sometimes spelled extrovert, means basically turned outward, that is, toward things outside oneself. The word was coined by the eminent psychologist C.G. Jung in the early 20th century. The opposite personality type, in Jung's view, was the introvert. Extroverts seem to be favored by societies such as ours, even though introverts seem to be on average more mentally gifted. Psychologists have said that the only personality traits that can be identified in newborn infants are shyness and lack of shyness, which are fairly close to, but not really the same as, introversion and extroversion.